Hi, welcome back. Today it's a story time. I want to give you a story about how these books that I have here with me ended up in my hand because I find the stories interesting. So let's get into it. I'll start with this one because it's a child's book and I won it so many moons ago, years ago. Now, for this book, the big storybook, story time, I had transferred to a new school at the beginning of the year. So I had moved from Mudini Primary to Machakos Primary. And the OGs in Machakos Primary was the East School. But during this time, 1 week in May, my class teacher at the time selected 3 students to represent the class in a reading competition that would happen that weekend. And in the same week, my math teacher, I don't like math, never have. Anyway, said, I think she was making an announcement to certain students, and she was like, "This Saturday we have a tuition." So, what did I understand? The math teacher needed us in school on Saturday. So, on Saturday, is a Sabbath. If you know, you know. I remember telling my dad the previous day, our math teacher needs us in school, and I feared my math teacher. I was afraid, feared. Anyway, so early in the morning on Saturday at 8, I go to school in my full school uniform on a Saturday. Arriving in school, I find other students, two, three, and yes, I was the only one in school uniform. The thing that I hadn't realized was this tuition was for selected few. It was for those that had paid to have extra tuition, especially for math and social studies. I don't know. So an hour later, I didn't even carry books to school. I don't know what tuition I was going to do because I didn't even carry a bag to school. Anyway, an hour later, the math teacher comes around. I think she was on duty that week as well. And she looks around and she's like, "You come." Myself. I go and she's like, "You're perfect because you already have school uniform. Please go to the field." Apparently those that had been selected for the reading competition had not shown up. So me, who was at the wrong place but at the right time in my school uniform, was selected. And that is how I ended up in a reading competition. And I won this book. This was the prize for the reading competition. My dad, he has written, presented by the Kenya National Libraries on the 26th May 2007. Do the Kenya National Libraries do this? Because we thrived in reading. There were so many prizes to be won. I think I won pencils, but this book is the highlight of it. So this is how it ended in my library. I've kept it for all these years because it's a reminder of what sometimes not understanding the message gives you. And yeah, I won the book. The next one is this one, The Psychology of Stupidity. How did it end up with me? I had gone to a book club, the Silence Book Club. I had intended and purpose to attend that one fateful Saturday. And we were sat at the table. I arrived late because I had a function I was attending before. And the young man who had this book was like, "You can have it." Thing is, they were lit as fuck. Lit. If you know, you know. But they ended up telling me I would find it interesting. I've never read it. If you've read it, you can give me the reviews. I'm planning to read it sometime. But yeah, this is how I ended up with this copy. A lit young man gave it to me during that book club. Yeah, you could also join us for that book club. It's run by Charlene. It's called the Silence Book Club. It doesn't have like there's no book of the month. You come with whatever book you're reading during that time. So This is how this ended in my library and in my hands. The last one is this one, Our Broken Silence. It's one of my favorite books by a Kenyan author. It's by Lanji and Adele Onyango. How did I get it? Shefa Okore, who is, if you know Shefa, you know she's very vocal in the field of feminism and advocacy for young people. And I think she was one of those people I always wanted to see a tweet she had put up, but that's besides the point. The point is, I'm chronically online, especially on Twitter at the time. And when this book was getting launched, Shefa, could not make it to the book launch. So she decided to sponsor 10 people to have a copy of the book and to attend the book launch. So I think I saw that tweet immediately. She put it out. I was the first to comment, and that is how I ended up getting this book. Now, on the day of the book launch, I got jitters, and I was like, I'm not going to go. But I remembered, but I have a free book, you know. So I went, and it was one of those goosebump-inducing moments because there were so many powerful women, and the stories there were beautiful. Beautiful in the sense of it was courageous of these people to give their experiences with, violence. And it was such an eye-opening. Mother Kome was there. Oh, my favorite, I was sitting behind Janet Bugwa, and I wrote her a note at the end of the book launch. And I remember her telling me, you can write your Instagram. And I wrote, and she followed me. And she posted that note, and people saw it, and they were like, "Oh my God, Janet Mungu has posted you." And yeah, anyway, this is how I got this copy, and it's one of those copies that I keep dear to my heart because one, it was directly given to me by a woman who I sort of enjoy her conversations, and then the authors of this book, we all know the powerhouse that is Adele, and Lanji is a lawyer. And but this book is such a beautiful read. You could please get yourself a copy. It was expensive, but I at least I have it. It is a signed. There's my signed copy by Adele. Thank you, Esther, for helping us break the silence. So this is how this book ended up in my hands. Yeah. So that's the story of these books that I have. I don't think I have others that are interesting. The others are borrowed copies, but this stand out for me because of how they ended up in my hand. Anyway, I'll see you on the next one. But until then, you can let me know how some books ended up in your hands. Interestingly, even if it's a borrowed copy and you didn't return or don't want to return, we all know people that do that. Don't do that. Anyway, see you on the next one. Until then, bye.